All right, so I just made $475,000 this month at 21 years old. It's literally July 1st, 1 p.m. to be specific. And so we've just closed the month of June and we closed it off at about $475,000 a month. I would have popped up the screenshot at some point so you can see the breakdown, which will have been from our multiple payment processes pulled into one so you can see the numbers. And in this video, I just want to reflect on that a little bit, talk about it, what it's like, I suppose, if people are interested, and also like how I'm actually making this money too, because I'm sure that is, interesting, or, that's what most people watching want to know. But first, I do want to say that like it would be cliche to say that it doesn't feel real, but like it really feels normal. And like I'm just projecting right now because I don't know why that is, because I feel like it should feel like very what the fuck, but I think it's because like I know what I've put in to get to this point. Like I have put in an absolute fuck ton of work, and I've had to have moments of reflection where I've really reflected back on everything that's gone into getting here, especially over this past, like up to this year, basically since start of this year to now, because we went from about 100k a month start of this year to now where we're at, where we're going to do like over 500 next month and absolutely smash that. I'm very, very confident in that. But, even this month we did 475, which is near enough 500. I'm not going to call it that because I need to like cross over the 500 mark. But yeah, so like I know what I've put in to get to that point, and I know that I am very deserving of that. But also I have had to have moments of reflection where like I've, went on a long walk and spoke back and forth with ChatGPT on these things, no word of a lie, just to like, project more than anything and speak it out loud, and then also get that confirmation back of like, I'm in an extremely blessed position, and I'm very, very, very lucky. As I said, I've positioned myself to receive that look through the work that I put in, and I know that I am deserving of this, but also I am extremely blessed because yeah, like I am in like a very unique position for somebody of my age, and like I've had to have times where like I've really recognized that. But sometimes when you're just in the motion and in the thick of it with actually, doing the inputs and the actions in order to achieve the goal, you are very narrow-sighted and you forget sort of like it's you have to sometimes step back and be like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on? Which is what I've had to do recently. But even still, sitting here right now recording this, I feel like it should feel more crazy than it feels. But as I said, I think that's as a result of what's went into it. So I'm going to talk about that in this video as well. So yeah, $475,000 like this month. How do we get here? Right, $500,000 plus next month. And $1 million a month is the goal by end of this year, which I'm extremely confident we're going to hit too. So context very quickly, let me get you up to speed. Been running the business for just over, for 3-4 years, September 2022, so knocking on 4 years soon. Straight out of school, 18 years old, sixth form here in the UK was the education, and I literally just finished that, and then I started this business. I started the business in my gap year because I got rejected from all the universities I applied to despite perfect grades, and I wanted to explore my entrepreneurial side, but my parents wanted me to go to university because they're traditional parents, and so basically I was like, okay, let's have a bet. I'll build a successful business at 10k a month in the gap year. If I don't, I've got to go to university. We decided on 10k a month because at that point I'd be making more than I would be out of university anyway 3-4 years later. So they were not reluctant to that whatsoever, because I'm sure they probably believed that I wasn't going to hit it. And even looking back myself, I was like, that is a pretty ambitious goal to set to hit within a year when I didn't even know what business to start. I literally started a web design agency where I started door knocking. I knocked like over 100 doors locally across different barbers, hairdressers, etc. Like I literally did it with my local Turkish barber that I used to get my hair cut from when I was a kid in high school. They said no. I only sold one website for £60, which is about less than $100. And I quickly found out that was not going to be the method. And so then I had to go back to the drawing board. I was unsure what to do. Luckily, I was scrolling social media one day, and a business owner basically made a social media post being like, I'm hiring a YouTube video editor to run my business's YouTube channel. And when I saw this, I knew this was my shot, and I knew it was, a blessing from God, the universe, whatever you believe in, because I ran a YouTube channel when I was like 10 years old. Used to get bullied for it as a kid, but like I was making the stupidest videos, but I absolutely loved it. And that's how I learned the skill of YouTube. You know, I had a couple successes where I did some, and what I thought was pretty smart things and way of thinkings back then when I was 11, 12 years old, in order to like figure out what a video, like which video would perform well, and, you know, like basically reverse engineering a successful video from the ground up, from like the idea all the way to the execution. And so that's like how I built the skill of YouTube. And then, you know, at this point, probably what, 6, 7, 8 years later, I, you know, see this post on this business owner's account, and I'm like, okay, I knew that this was the shot. Like, I felt it in my soul when I saw it. I was like I can do this. Like, I can do that. And I made a custom pitch video, basically pitching that I run his entire YouTube channel for him, not just doing the editing. So I'd stand out from the other editing applicants. And this was how the service that I have today originated. Long story short, said yes, I ran the entire YouTube channel for him, doing the video ideas, the editing, helping with the scripts, hooks, thumbnails, posting, like everything, right? The entire end-to-end management. Grew his business, well, added $1 million a year to his business from YouTube in 8 months when he was starting at zero, had zero prior experience from YouTube. That was pretty unheard of at the time. Businesses didn't really know how to do YouTube, and they didn't even know YouTube was this platform which could actually drive that sort of result for their business. That got the attention of a lot of other businesses, and things just snowballed from there. We attracted new clients, bigger clients, got even bigger results for them, and this flywheel just continued to where now, when I tell you this, I mean it, we are running some of the absolute top channels on YouTube that if you watch business videos, success, like videos on how to be successful, educational videos, you know some of the channels that we run. In fact, you probably watch some of the channels that we run. And like that, like I mean that. I can't say obviously some of these channels, especially the bigger ones, at least for now. But like, trust me when I say we run channels that you watch. If you watch these types of videos, you know the guys of the channels that we run. So I'll say that. We run some of the top channels in the space, and, you know, we've obviously now grown to a point where we have many, many, many clients paying us thousands of dollars a month, so on and so forth. So let's get into specifics of what that looks like. So what is the main way that I make my money? It's through this business where I'm running YouTube channels end to end for other businesses, educational brands, etc. The offer structure is we run the entire thing: research, strategy, video ideas, scripting, editing, thumbnails, posting, like end-to-end strategy as well, like where, you know, studying the data, seeing what did well, what didn't do well, doubling down on what did do well, you know, taking consideration what didn't work well and factoring that into the strategy to get better results, right? Very hands-on as could possibly be. The only thing we're not doing is recording the videos because we're not the subject matter expert. That's the whole reason why we have clients instead of just running the entire channel ourselves. Otherwise, we just run our own channels, right? Because we make these channels millions of dollars a year is what we add to these businesses. So that's the offer. We usually do that on one video per week as the flagship because YouTube's a quality game, not a quantity game. And for that, we were charging $5,000 a month, but we literally just increased prices to $6,500 a month, and we're probably going to increase more. We've been severely undervalued for a long time, but that was part of my strategy with the business. But now it was at the point where it was getting too ridiculous, and we were just far too cheap. And 100 plus people who like 100 plus people / clients / people who got on the sales calls with me told me this. Literally, the people who were buying were like, "You're too cheap," and we know whatever lie we're told that over 100 times. So we had to raise prices, but $5K a month was what we were charging for that. And obviously, you know, the first client that I signed, like I charged him $1,700 a month for 2 videos a week, right? But the service has evolved much more since then, and we get way better results now, which is all that matters because we've evolved the team, evolved the system, so on and so forth. Okay, so that is the main offer. We also have a slightly cheaper offer, which is 3.5 or was 3.5K a month, which was basically the same offer, just without the editing piece. And we also have doing more videos per week, right? So we were charging 8.5K a month to do 2 videos a week, completely done for them. Or we were charging 5K a month for 2 videos a week without the editing. That was kind of our offer structure, right? So you can pull from that whatever information you need if that's something that's of value to you. But now we're raising prices across the board. And yeah, like we're charging much more. So that is the only offer that I had for a very long time, and that's what we were selling. And we got to 120K a month, I would say, with that offer come start of this year, 2026. So like January, February, that's where we were about $120,000 a month. For the full timeline, in my gap year, I grew it to 50,000. I had my first $50,000 month. That didn't sustain like that. Like I basically, from 18 years old, while I was 18, just before my birthday, I closed off the month at $50,000. And then we dropped down to like 30 because, you know, I wasn't a mature business owner. I didn't know how to handle an operation. And honestly, yeah, I did not operate the business as a mature business owner and as somebody who was super professional. There was lots of kinks, let's just say that, in the service. And so like, you know, I kind of had to like grab a hold of that and fix that and naturally evolve as a business owner. I was 18 years old, so you know it was quite a bit of time ago, you know. But yeah, so then after, like, since that point, it was kind of like a slow scale up with obviously the volatility that naturally comes with growing a business, because you add a bunch of clients and then you've got to figure out how to break past that new level of resistance through building and fortifying your operation to be able to withstand that level of scale, but also build even higher level of scale. And so that was why we had a big ramp up in that first year, but then it was a slower build up over the next couple of years to literally start of 2026 to where, you know, we were at like 110, 120. There were also things that happened during that timeline that like shifted me off course as well, naturally, just through personal life. Like, if I'm being completely real and honest, as like, I don't think a lot of people talk about these things because they just talk about the good stuff that's happening on the front end and all this stuff and like from a business standpoint. But, you know, there were natural things during the course of this period which we were on a good run and then I got knocked off course. So for example, I'm just being completely fucking real. Like, I'm just going to keep this video very, very raw because I think hopefully some people will resonate with this. You know, we were at, like, we just closed our first 100K month where we collected 100K and we were knocking on 100K monthly recurring revenue. And I got into this relationship, and by the way, like, nothing against this girl whatsoever, lovely girl. But, you know, that relationship fucked me up. Like that one like messed me up. This was start of 2025. This is like January 2025. So this is over a year ago now. And yeah, like that took a lot of my attention away from the business. Again, I was an immature business owner and I've learned lessons. Like, I'm just being super transparent here about, yeah, like, I like, a lot of people would position themselves as the perfect business owner, but I think like everybody actually goes through this ultimately behind the scenes, whether you know it or not, no matter how successful they are. And so, yeah, like, it took my attention away and I had to learn that lesson, and I learned a lot of lessons through that, and I'm extremely grateful for it, to be honest. Like, I'm very, very grateful for it because it taught me a lot of, you know, how to kind of put emotions aside and not let something external kind of put you off track through your actual goals and what you're focused on, and basically detach. It taught me detachment at a very, very high level, and, you know, yeah, just dealing with emotions. So I'm extremely grateful for that. And so, like, it took me off track, technically speaking, in terms of, you know, like, at the time, but realistically, if I didn't learn that then, that would have fucked me up later. And actually, like, I'm extremely glad that it happened, but I just give that as context as to why that timeline was stretched, basically. But it was essential that I learned those things, right? Anyways, that's kind of going off track a bit. I'm sure that's a video for another day because I think there's a lot of value in that as well. So I'll make that video another day. But anyways, so yeah, slow sort of build up to the point where we were at 120 come start of January. And then, like, I went on a massive growth sprint. Like, I decided, like, fuck it. I'm like this, like, there was obviously a shift that happened in terms of that was like the catalyst for this, because like this wasn't just some spark of motivation that I had. Like, there was a true catalyst behind this, but again, like, that's not really for this video or anything like that. And so, like, the energy towards growing the business truly shifted, and that's permanent. You know, that was permanent. Like, I obviously had up to this point these spikes of motivation and so on and so forth, but I kind of lost my, like, I feel like through those years, like, I lost my reason. Like, I didn't have the absolute concrete reason. And I still held an extremely high standard for myself through growing the business through that period, 100%, because that's the type of person that I am and that I see myself as. But like, I did lose my reason a bit, or well, better put, I hadn't found my reason was the better way to put it. Like, I never actually found that reason. But then through this catalyst and through events that occurred, during this time period, start of this year, I got very, very clear on that. And like, that was the catalyst. And so what happened there was February, we were at like 120-ish, as I say. And within a 30-day time span, we went from that point to over $300,000. $335,000 March was how much we did. $225,000 of that being monthly recurring revenue, the rest being additional cash collected for deals processed upfront for like 3-month deals where we collected the payment upfront. So we more than doubled the business in a 30-day time span at like an already 7-figure run rate. So one little micro lesson, it goes to show that when you really want it, and that you really do you really have a true motivation in order to get there. And I'm talking a true motivation because a lot of people talk themselves into thinking they have a motivation in order to achieve a goal, and they'll use some default proxy BS motivation that they hear online of like, I want to retire my family, I want to gain financial freedom, like which like might be a goal of yours, right? Like that might be, but like, you need to dig into and find the true motivation, because once you unlock that, and then once you get clear on exactly what you need to do in order to get there, aka you actually are concrete on something that you genuinely want and you would do anything to get there, and the only question mark in your mind is how do I get there? And then you reverse engineer from the goal down to such a level of clarity with actual specific KPIs, key performance indicators, to make sure that you're on track, or to know that you're on track towards hitting your goal, literally making hitting the goal math, and just making sure, if I hit these set of numbers, if these set of numbers are true, I hit my goal. Like, if you break it down to that level of clarity, and then also you get clarity behind, okay, I've got these set of KPIs, these numbers, what actions do I need to take on a weekly and daily basis in order to actually make sure that these are true, right? Like, again, just reverse engineering from the goal down to such a level to where you know what you literally need to be doing day to day and hitting and achieving overall week by week in order to, hit these goals. And also month by month as well. But this was just like, I literally set the goal to be at 200K monthly recurring revenue, like in February. Or end of February, mid-February, I set the goal, okay, end of March, I'm going to be over 200K monthly recurring revenue. And also I had personal goals as well. So this isn't just business related. This is also like any goal that you have, achieving any goal that you have. Like, this is the system for doing that. Get extremely clear on what your true motivation is behind hitting the goal. Get clear on the goal, that like the actual tangible goal, the numbers, the visualization, like get specific on what that looks like, i.e., okay, once I've hit this, that means the actual true motivation and the true goal has been achieved. And again, I'll talk about what this was for me in a separate video, not for this video. And then get clear on how exactly to get there. Like, that's all you need. But the key unlock there is actually getting the true motivation, and then reverse engineering to such a level of clarity to where, like, the main reason why, like, there's two key reasons why I see people not hit goals, and it's because they don't genuinely have the true motivation to the point where, like, they literally, like, it makes them feel something when they think about it. Like, they don't have that level of, like, desire and will towards hitting that goal because they didn't actually find the true motivation and they used a proxy instead, which ultimately isn't actually going to get you to do the things that you don't want to do, right? And then, or two, or both, of course, or two, they actually do have the true motivation, but they're not clear enough on what they need to do to get there, so they kind of just float around and they don't execute with speed. But if you genuinely want it and you get super clear on how to actually get it, you're going to do it. And that's exactly what happened with me. And so I literally reverse engineered to a point where it was math, and I achieved it. We did over $200,000 monthly recurring revenue. We did $225,000 monthly recurring revenue. We did over $335,000 collections. And the other goal is a personal goal relating to like getting in shape because I'd just been on a bulk and I was honestly I was a chubby bunny. That was for sure. I did not realize at the time how bloated I was, but bloody hell, my face looked like the moon. I didn't actually, like, I look back, I'll probably pop up pictures now so you can see what I look like. And, you know, I can even maybe pop up a picture of what I'm looking like now. But like the goal within the month was to, like, literally get diced and shredded. It was a very ambitious goal. And looking back, like, I genuinely believed though at the time that I could like do that in a month. In hindsight, I had way too much fat to lose. It literally would not have been possible even if I starved myself, and I would have lost all my muscle mass. But because I like actually still set that goal, I made so much progress still. You know what they say, it's cliche, but aim for the stars and you'll land on the moon, I think is the phrase. And like that is like, I actually hate that. Like everyone hates that phrase, but like that is actually what happened where, you know, I in hindsight, I ended up setting a goal that was too ambitious, but I thought it was realistic at the time. It was ambitious nonetheless, but like I thought it was like actually realistically achievable with who I believe myself to be and what it, like, you know, what I knew I could do. And in hindsight, it just wasn't actually possible. But it didn't matter because I still made insane progress. And now I'm actually at the point where I'm actually nearing that goal. Like that time, that goal has taken long. There's been a couple of things that have threw me off track there, such as going to Barcelona and binging out and celebrating and stuff like that. You know, living life as normal. But, you know, now I'm actually extremely close to that point. But because I set that goal, I then set myself up to make the progress to like, and also because I had that catalyst and I got clear on what I actually wanted and my true desires, and therefore, you know, like I got clear on the true desire, and then I got clear on the goals underneath it that if I hit, that desire would actually come true. You know, I set myself in motion for that. I made insane progress in a month. That then reinforced my beliefs about myself, and it proved it stacked as evidence in favor of my identity that I was somebody who could continue to achieve even bigger and bigger things. And now I'm at the point where, you know, we're even further ahead, which I'll talk about. So that was where we rounded up in March. And then from there, we obviously, since doubling the business in a 30-day time span at an already 7-figure run rate, ran into some scaling problems and teething issues. And I had to figure out how to deal with that. But I did deal with it. And, you know, also credits to my team as well that, you know, like contributed towards this as well. Like it wasn't just all me driving this and solving the issues. Of course, I'm the one who's like leading that forward because as the founder and CEO of the company, like I should. But also like, yeah, we in a nutshell, like we solved these issues, or we made massive progress towards solving them, or solved the bottlenecks that were preventing us from growing further at the time. But we're still dealing with some of these, to be clear. Like some of these issues, you know, like we're busy revamping our project management system to make sure everything's airtight there. Like, you know, I've had to, I'll get into this, but like I've had to hire and fire people fast. Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff that's gone on, and you know, I can't talk about all of it in this video, otherwise it will truly be a very, very messy app video, but hopefully it's valuable so far. But yeah, so that's what happened there. So we had to solve those issues, and so in April, which was the next month, so March, as I said, 335, April we did less cash collected, but we still grew the business more. So our monthly recurring revenue, I think, probably grew more to like 250, 265, something like that. I'm ballparking here because I'm literally thinking months ago. But the cash collected was lower. It was actually just sub 300. But also that's keeping in mind that, like, you know, we wouldn't have expected to grow massively within that month either, because we just more than doubled the business. So we were kind of focused on operations and, like, you know, putting clients first and focusing on product, which is really my nature anyway. Is like I'm much more of a product guy than a sales and marketing guy. And that's also why it took so long to get to 120, 130, is because like I barely did any sales and marketing to get there at all. I was basically silent and just like working in the shadows. But now it's completely flipped to where I'm still product focused. Like that's my energy, but we've got good systems in place for client acquisition and getting attention. Anyways, so yeah, that's where we wrapped up in terms of April. May was a similar sort of deal where, you know, again, we grew steadily, but we were kind of like stabilized. We hit this new level of resistance essentially to where like previously 100K a month was the resistance, or like 100K monthly recurring revenue. This one was like 300K a month was the resistance, right? We kind of like eventually, after a lot of time, after literally years of trying to like break past this resistance of 100K a month, we finally broke past it and we skyrocketed it up. And then we reached the new level of resistance of 300K a month, where we were kind of like, having to solve things and get through that. But we did so very quickly. So yeah, May again, I think it was probably just under, it might have been 300-ish cash collected. Monthly recurring revenue still grew, but kind of stabilized, like wouldn't have grew by too much. Because we were definitely dealing with these scaling issues, but we made a lot of progress in solving those to the point where now, so that was May. June was the big boy, because again, like we'd done this, we went through this phase of massive growth, and then we had the operations stabilizing, and like building the foundations to be able to break past that new level of resistance. And a couple of things also happened in June as well that allowed us to unlock new levels of growth. So yeah, stabilize the operations. June, we just, again, like added a ton of clients on the agency side. We added some insanely big clients. As I said, people who you watch, if you're watching this video, these channels, and I'm sure very soon I'll be able to reveal who these channels are. We've already achieved insane results for them as well. So there was that. I wonder if I've actually got the exact numbers. I don't think I can share my screen, but yeah, so we added, looks like 27 clients. So like about 30 clients basically that we added on our agency service. 27, we'll say between 25 and 30. And so that was pretty nice. And obviously just everybody monthly recurring from the months we've added prior, right? Because our service is monthly recurring and because we have a good service, I think I'm underselling myself a little bit there. We're the best fucking in our industry at what we do, to be quite frank. Like all the other businesses that do what we do copy us and are just like inferior to us, if I'm being quite completely honest. And I will strut my stuff because we have the best results in the industry. And I see the client channels of our competition. I don't really even consider them competition anymore. I used to, because I used to be like sort of at a similar level, but now we're just completely clear of them all. I see their client channels and they're just like, their whole strategy is just copy our client channels. So yeah, just little flex, just shitting on my competitors midway through the video. But I think it's important because if you're watching this and potentially considering working with a YouTube agency, I do not want you to make the mistake of working with the wrong one, because I'll tell you, every single one of them I've run into is like, there's very, very few YouTube service providers that are truly good at what they do and will actually get you results, because most of our clients come from these other YouTube agencies or have worked with them prior and they don't get them results, right? And so like, we obviously get a lot of clients that monthly recur. We have, low churn, obviously. And so the compounding of what we've added prior the last month and the previous month, so on and so forth, and what we've had for years as well with our tenured clients that have been with us for literally like 3+ years and have added millions and millions and millions of dollars per year to their business from YouTube. Like Sam Player added $400,000 per month from YouTube. He's like the top channel in the Facebook ads niche. Glenn Coco went from like 0 to $1 million collected from YouTube in the first 6 months and went from like 0 to 10K subscribers in the first 60 days. The first video collected like $100,000 in cash collected for them within the first 30 days. They're like the fastest growing channel in the sales niche, right? 0 to 10K subs in 60 days might not seem like a lot, but trust me, in their niche, that's insane. Because they're attracting, all of those are buyers, right? Anyway, that's a side tangent. But the point being, like, we have these clients where they're paying us for years, and then we have our more recent clients that we've taken on, which are still continuing to pay us, and then we've got the new clients that we've added too. And we're able to get these new clients very fast as a result of the case studies that we have. Like that's one of the biggest things as to why we have gotten to where we've gotten to and we're able to scale so fast, is because of our case studies and the word of mouth from those case studies. We have good systems for getting getting those case studies referred and out there, and getting attention on them. And that's kind of what we've really cracked in order to ramp up acquisition. But the case studies is the driving force behind all of them. We've got like some of the absolute biggest names in the industry that we're running the channels for, as I say. And so that's only going to continue to get even more wild. Anyway, so like that is how we grew the agency side to the point where the agencies now, I think probably sitting at or very much nearing on $400,000 monthly recurring in terms of like our books of clients and what they pay monthly, our books of active clients and what they pay monthly. And yeah, but then we closed a couple big upfront deals. No, actually, I think we only closed one big upfront deal because we stopped selling the upfront deals and we only sell monthly recurring deals unless it's like it makes sense. So this one was a $45,000 deal upfront, so we did that. But I think that might have been the only upfront deal that we actually sold. So there's that. Now, the other contributor towards the revenue amount that we had this past month of June was a new offer we launched. Prior to this, we'd only ever sold that one agency offer, right? With the different variations and packages of it, where if they had an editor, then, you know, they didn't need to buy editing from us because they already have it. And if they wanted to do more videos a week, then there would be that, which is how we'd have clients that would be paying us like over $10,000 a month, which we have like many clients who do that for, many clients who pay that. But that was the only offer we sold up to this point because it didn't make sense for me to split focus, you know. Like I'd thought about and ideated other offers in the past where, what if I did a coaching program, so on and so forth, but it didn't make sense at the level of skill that I was at because I would literally be giving away all of my source to competitors that at the time were at a similar level. And, you know, at the time I had this really limiting mindset, but I do still think it was the right decision at the time, where I felt that if I gave out that value to, and like gave away my quote unquote secrets to competitors or just to other businesses who weren't done for you clients and potentially maybe, I just didn't want to give that, I didn't want to let that source out there. Because I believed that if I did, I would potentially cannibalize myself and my main business, which I think part of that was limiting and part of that wasn't not true, but part of it, like the concern was real, if that makes sense, because I wasn't at a point where we had established ourselves enough in the industry to where it made sense to give that stuff away. But now the shift is that we're clear, first of all the competitors, but also we're clearly like the go-to in the industry if people are aware of us and aware of our case studies for the thing that we do. And so now it's just about getting more attention on that, like, you know, more attention for our clients, which can only be done effectively through content. So I need to get myself out there posting content. But previously I couldn't really even post content or grow my own YouTube channel because I didn't want to give away my secrets, because again, I felt like it was in direct conflict, which is the same reason why I hadn't previously launched an offer. So the same reason why I'd never grown my own YouTube channel was this, which a lot of people would ask, is like, why don't you grow your own channel? That was that was really the reason. And because also I could have made YouTube videos that were watered down, but then it would just make me look like a mediocre YouTube guy. And then also I couldn't launch an offer because that would also be the same thing where ultimately I'd be giving away, you know, my secrets to a broader scale of people rather than keeping it internally in our internal operation, of which we're like providing a service to the clients. But the shift now is that I'm clear of that in all senses. And also the other thing is that we're not demand constrained anymore in order to grow. We're supply constrained, which basically means that we have clients falling from the sky. Getting clients is not an issue. Client acquisition is not a bottleneck towards achieving our goals. You know, for example, our goal of hitting $1 million a month by end of this year. The bottleneck is going to be operations, and it's going to be scaling those operations, specifically scaling the team, even more specifically scaling a world-class team, right? Scaling a team is not difficult for a mediocre service, but scaling a world-class team in the industry that we're in, where there's a severe shortage of world-class talent in each specific area of our service, from YouTube strategy being the main one, because YouTube strategy is that's the role. The YouTube strategist is the role that coordinates the entire operation, coordinates and orchestrates like the decisions that we're making for clients based on, you know, like what videos are we making for them, the video ideas, the thumbnail concepts, the editing style for a specific video, the way the video is structured. Like, they're the ones making the high leverage decisions that have the biggest influence in terms of results. But then you've also got the execution layer at each part of the process, like editing the videos. So video editors, we need to be able to hire the best video editors at a very fast pace, because for every client that we add, we really need another editor, or at the very most, for every 2 clients we need another editor. Thumbnail designers as well, script writers. The script writing is a very leveraged position, and we have that bottleneck solved really. So anyways, because of AI, like you can build like very good, very, very, very good AI script writing systems that aren't AI slop. If you know what you're doing, which is the key part, because most people don't know what they're doing, and most of these YouTube agencies have sloppy scripts, absolute slop. But we have, like, I mean, I could pop up screenshots. Maybe I can find like 1 or 2. I'm not going to go through and sift a bunch of screenshots of, but like we have our script writing systems absolutely dialed. So anyway, the talent is the bottleneck, and like that is the thing that I need to solve for. And what I realized is the best way to solve this bottleneck, it's not through, like, job posts can get me talent fast, but it's not going to get me the absolute best talent, at least not reliably. And poaching is another way that you can get great talent, which is probably something we need to tap into more, because evidently, like, we are the best, not just the best company to be a client of, but the best company to also work for and with, because of the growth trajectory that we're on as well. And we also work on the biggest channels. So, I mean, if you do want to potentially join the company and join the team, then like DM me on Instagram or something, because we're always looking for great talent. If I can attract world-class talent through this video, that's perfect. But this is the entire reason why I'm doing this, is because what I realized is, in order to attract world-class talent, I need to make content. I need to build my brand. I need to be somebody that is known across the entire industry of YouTube, and, you know, positioned as this person who is like extremely successful with YouTube, building the biggest YouTube company and the best YouTube company. I'm not going to get too specific into that, because 1, that's for other videos, and 2, you know, can't be revealing everything. But point being is, I realized I had to build my brand and become that sort of thought leader in the space in order to attract the best talent and get like truly high level, highly intelligent, highly skilled people who I want at the company to come and want to work with me. You know, whether they find me through a job post and see that, but then they look into me more and they're like, oh, I want to work for this guy, or if they just see me through the content and my brand. So that's what I realized, and that's also why I'm making videos like this, because I know that if the person that I want to attract watches this video, they'll resonate with it, they'll get value from it, they'll see how authentic I am and that I'm just like laying out exactly the position that we're in and so on and so forth. I know that person would want to work with my company, and that we'd explore that, and then I'd attract them, and that's how I'm going to attract that talent. And I need it, but the problem with this is it never made sense for me to build my brand beforehand, because of the client acquisition was solved for. And so the only reason really for me to build my brand, at least at this stage and in this way, is to attract the talent. The problem with that is I didn't want to use the funds from the business to reinvest into build my own brand, because it kind of felt wrong to take that from the business. Like I want to reinvest everything made from the core business and what we're building and the core company of what we're building back into that business and that company. And this was where I realized I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone, to solve the talent bottleneck and the supply constraint, and also make it make sense to build my brand, which would in turn also help solve the supply constraint. And what this was launching an offer targeted towards the talent. Launching an offer where I basically train, in a nutshell, you know, train and teach and coach people on how to be how to have a very successsul career in YouTube and become that world-class talent that can make 6 or even 7 figures if they build their own YouTube business off the back of it from YouTube. So this goes for the YouTube strategist being the primary role that we're looking to hire for, and that we're going to be constrained by potentially as we scale, and being able to have these strategists, or like existing or aspiring strategists, pay to join this program, with the fee, and the reason for the fee being to get committed people who are actually committed to, you know, achieving this result, and goal that they have of their, you know, their career. And also the reason for the fee to be feeding back into the brand. So the whole thing, I'm going to kind of like lay the land. This is a very messy video, and I don't really give a fuck, to be honest, because like this is for me more so than anyone else. But if you're watching, then cool. I'm gonna take a quick drink because I've been yapping for 40 minutes. Okay, we're back. So basically, in the YouTube economy, the talent that I need at a world-class level, there's barely anyone who actually is at that level. I know this because like YouTube strategists, for example, the most important role and highest leverage role for me to hire the right person for, I've hired 6-figure YouTube strategists before, like where we're paying them, 10 plus K a month, and I've fired them very quickly, generally speaking. Like most of them have sucked. And it's because there's such a shortage of people who know how to do YouTube strategy at like an actual good level. And these guys don't even do it at a good level. They do it at a decent, mediocre level. And they get, they're valued in the market at like a 6-figure salary, which is nuts. But it's because nobody's teaching how to do it online. Nobody's giving away the source and the keys to the castle, because why would they? Like the top YouTube strategists have no reason and incentive to teach that, because if they do, then they're potentially giving away market share and cannibalizing themselves to where, like clients might end up going with the YouTube strategist that they very much like actually go and teach, whether they know it or not, right? If they're posting content online or whether it's within a program, whatever. And so like it doesn't make sense for people to actually give away the true source. So people give watered down information like find outlier videos and all that shit, right? But this is just terrible advice, because people are gatekeeping the actual real source for those who actually know that they're gatekeeping that, which very few people do truly know that. I'm one of those who obviously do know this at the highest level, and what I'm about to get onto is, I'll get onto it. So anyways, this is what I realized. There's this extreme shortage of those people. The people who are truly, truly good, they obviously charge an arm and a leg for one, but that's not actually the issue for us, because, we'd have the budget for it if it was the right person. The problem is that like all of them are wanting to like do their, like they're wanting to have their own business because there's such a shortage. It's hard for it to make sense for them to join somebody else's business and like, be a part of that, because they want their own thing, basically, right? They'll be a solo YouTube consultant, or, they'll attempt to build a YouTube agency and then they'll probably fail because they'll realize how complex of an operation that it actually is. But nonetheless, they build their own thing, and they also, that's that. Take my word for it. So what I realized is that the most effective way to actually get these people is going to be getting the people who are the best, like have the highest potential to be that, from a like personality standpoint, from a soft skill standpoint, and just who they are as a person standpoint, and mold them into that world-class strategist. That's what I've realized. And I've in practice like experimented with this, where I've trained strategists from zero who are at least near that type, and like it's actually been very easy for me to do because I have the source and I like have all this experience, and I'm very good at training team members and people at certain skills. And like I've proven that this is the way to go, at least for me, because I actually have the source, so I can actually train people. And for me, it like, unlike for these other top strategists, for me, it actually makes sense to do this because, I'm operating at like a level to where that is the constraint, right? Most YouTube strategists or, YouTube service providers or YouTube agencies, whatever, are constrained by their ability to get clients. We're in a unique position to where that's actually not the case for us, and we're constrained by the talent. So like this is, and I'm also now at the level where, tying this all the way back to when I said I used to have these limiting beliefs about giving away the source, I realized that the real moat of our business isn't the source that I have, isn't our unique expertise and talent in the industry, and it's not these flimsy things that could actually be replicated with that information just getting given, or like it's those things aren't the moat. The moat of the business is that I am the fucking moat. I am the moat of the business. Me being the business owner, me being the CEO of the company, me being the leader of this company, and the vision and the mission and the ideas that I have, that is the moat, which nobody else can replicate because it's me. And like the way that I am, the way I operate the business, like everything about that, like I am the moat. I am the reason why my competitors can't catch up. No matter how much information they get given and how much source they get given on how to grow YouTube channels, it doesn't fucking matter, because they're still not going to get as good results as me. They're still not going to build the business like I am. Like, they're just not, because they don't have the same mission and vision. And even if they knew my mission and vision for the company and they copied the mission and vision, they copied my core values to instill on their team members, it's just not like it's going to be a cheap copy, and it's not actually going to work, because like I created this vision. Like, it's my vision. It's what I want for the company. And I'm not going to leak that on this video, but this is the vision that I have for the company, and the mission that we are on. Like, that is the thing that gets me excited, and like I feel that inside. It's not going to do the same for my competitors. And also, again, the thoughts that I have, like the stuff, like they can't replicate it, because it's just me. It's the way my brain works. It's the way that I think. It's the way that I operate. They're not going to do that. And so after realizing that I am the fucking moat, I've kind of entered this new phase where I'm like, fuck it, now I can, like, because this was the reason why I would stay quiet online as well, because I'd be scared if I'm too loud, then my competitors are going to, like, have a fire lit under their ass because they see that I'm growing, and then that's going to mean that they're going to grow. But, I used to operate very small-minded, like, all things considered, despite the fact that I, was running a 7-figure business at, like, 21 or whatever, like, a 100K a month business, and, like, these things that would be considered remarkable. I was really a little fucking bitch, to be quite frank. About like a lot of this stuff, and I had these limiting beliefs, and yeah, like the thing that made me overcome them is just pure ego, to be honest. But it's got me to where it's got me to, so I don't really care. I might sound like a dickhead, but like, it's true. I am the fucking moat. Nobody can compete with me, even if they try, as long as I stay true to myself and I continue to operate as who I am as a person, which I'm going to, because that's my identity and that's who I am, right? Case closed. So when I realized this, I was like, oh shit, okay, well, in that case, I shouldn't worry about giving away all my source. I shouldn't worry about being loud and building this big, obnoxious brand and everybody knowing who I am, because my competitors are just going to be little ants to me anyway. Like, they're not even going to fucking matter or like amount to anything in comparison to what I'm going to be building. And like, there's nothing they can do about it, unfortunately. Even them watching this video, they're going to be so pissed watching this. They're going to have a fire lit under their ass. They're going to even feel watching this like, oh, I'm going to prove Jake wrong. I'm going to like, I fucking hate this guy. But it doesn't matter, because you still can't compete. What are you going to fucking do? You actually can't do anything. Anyways, I know I really sound like a dickhead, like, whatever. But this is like, this is how I feel. Like, you actually just can't do anything about it. Anyways, back to the point, because we went on a bit of a side tangent there. Run it back. Okay, so what I was saying, after realizing this, and after realizing that I am the moat, and that I am the reason why my competitors compete no matter what I do in terms of giving away value, so on and so forth, like, the limiting beliefs cleared, the clouds cleared, the sky became blue, the sun was shining, and I was like, right, it's time to build my brand, and it's time to launch a new offer. And so what I did is I launched a new offer where I'm coaching these YouTube strategists, video editors, thumbnail designers, etc., people in the YouTube economy, even YouTube agencies that want to come in and like actually learn from me. Basically, everybody in the YouTube economy, like these YouTube agencies, YouTube strategists, etc., like launching an offer where I coach them on how to ultimately scale, right? How to achieve their goals, like helping them achieve their goals through, getting better at YouTube, learning the art of YouTube strategy and building a YouTube operations system, so on and so forth. And basically having this big group of people who to their core are the potentially the right people to their core, to where they are like the potential talent that I'm looking for, and molding these people at scale into becoming that person if they're cut out for it, with the hard skills, right? If they're the right fit, soft skill wise, personality wise, etc., intelligence, so on and so forth, then teaching them the hard skills of YouTube strategy and also these other complementary skill sets that are important as well, and just molding them into the best YouTube operator that they can be, accustomed to their specific skill set and desire. And a percentage of those I will hire. They will want to work with my company and join my company, because even if they're all wanting to build their own thing, and if they're coming into this thinking like, I want to build my own YouTube agency business, cool. Your mind's probably going to be changed by the time we're done, because like I can always offer as long as, you know, we're continuing to scale and all these things, like the opportunity that I'm going to offer is just going to be better for you. But if they still want to go, you know, build their own thing, totally fine doing that, you know, because then I can use that as case studies. I've helped those people as well. So like, it actually is in alignment with my personal goals and stuff as well. Like, I don't, you know, like this offer is actually something that I get a lot of fulfillment from, to be clear as well. Because I'm helping people and like really having a big impact there. But like the ultimate business serving goal is to get the talent to then, you know, to get the talent that I can then like use to expand the agency, right? And even, well, expand the agency, the company. I'm not putting labels on it because it's not even like necessarily an agency really. But yeah, and even if they do go and build their own thing, you know, like I can always invest in that. Like there's always a benefit that I can extract from that, for my own like personal business related gain. But also as well, the fulfillment I get from that is very strong too. So I launched this offer, and the good thing is as well, like the fact that it's like there is a significant buy-in to this offer. Well, it's not significant, it's actually extremely cheap, but like significant to most of the people who are joining at least. You know, it's 5K and we're going to be raising that to 10K. Like it's just a one-time buy-in to get into the group. And the reason why I have that, it's less so about the money, but there is a reason why I do charge in regards to like making money from it as well, but not to make money for me personally, to serve my goal and to feed back into the flywheel. But the main reason for the buy-in is to get people who are actually genuinely committed, because if you're paying 5K for it, you're going to show up to the calls and you're going to actually implement the shit that I tell you. And that's the way that it goes. So that's the actual main reason for the buy-in, is to filter out the people who aren't truly serious about it. And also as well, the people with the money also mean that they're probably in the industry to some level. They're already like actively committed to it, right? Because most people are not going to pay 5K if they like aren't, yeah, you get the point. So like we're actually attracting like ICP people for the role. It's actually working really well. So I'm very excited about that. The second thing is the money that I get from that, because it's very high profit margin, and it's it's high profit margin. There's no real expense. So like most of the 5K that I get from each person is like profit. I can reinvest that into building my brand, right? So everything that I get from that offer, which I'm promoting through the brand in order to get talent, which then joins the company, I can reinvest into the brand to grow the brand more, which in turn gets talent, which in turn grows the company and solves the company's bottleneck, right? You see the flywheel that's occurring here. And so I keep it entirely separate from my other offer and my other company. The main thing that I'm actually like, the reason why I launched this offer is to feed back into this, because this is the thing that I'm actually focused on. But instead of it being a conflict of interest, which previously it was, because of all the reasons that I've already outlined that I'll not repeat, because this has been a fucking yap fest, those reasons no longer existed, and instead now it actually genuinely makes sense for me to do and make it a focus, because it's actually to complement the business that I'm building. And I've also structured it in some pretty smart ways as well to, in the immediate term, serve that business too, not just gunning for this big payoff at the end, where in the hopes that, you know, we have our ideal candidates and potential hires come through this and they go through this process, which is going to take an extended period of time. I've got like smart ways implemented, like in the way that this whole offer works, like to be able to extract value from that for the other business in the short term. You're not even going to know what I'm talking about when saying this, but again, like this is for a personal entry, because it's just laying things out of like where my brain's at. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, and so to loop this all back, because like I've went into a shit ton of detail, and at the end of the day, this video is only meant to be about how I made $475,000 a month at 21. But we went on a massive side tangent, so who knows if I'm even going to post this video anymore, but fuck it. Good entry, at least. Yeah, and so... What was I even saying? Oh, yeah. So, like, as a result of launching this offer, we did, like, about $60,000 or $70,000 cash collected from this, which was actually, like, profit. I thought it was actually higher, but I got my numbers messed up. But we didn't promote it much. Well, I say we, it's me. I didn't promote it much at all. I just did like a launch on the Instagram, and like for the first couple of days of it being launched, like did some promotions through Instagram story sequences. That was it. I think a couple of people dripped in through my YouTube as well, and like they bought, because obviously they were very nurtured because of the YouTube videos, and YouTube videos like convert people very well. I mean, it's why I do what I do, and it's why we get the results we get for our other clients, but it's also something that's contributed a lot to this offer for me. In fact, we even got a couple couple of agency clients through the YouTube as well. Nonetheless, yeah, so that contributed another like 60, 70K too. The specific amount that we made, and that is how I made 475. Oh, it's actually not. It's 400. I'm looking at it now. I lied. I clickbaited you. It's $473,000, $783. Get fucking clickbaited. I didn't even make $475,000. I'm a liar. But I would have popped up the screenshot at the start anyway, so you would have seen that I'm lying. And maybe you even clicked off the video when I did that because, you know, you didn't like the fact that I made, what, $1,217 less than what I said I would. Anyways. So, yeah. If you stayed through to the end, congratulations, because that was a messy video. But if you watched through the entire thing, I think you probably got some value from it. And yeah, that's where I'm at. $1 million a month, end of this year. I'm literally like, I've got to fucking hit that because I'm putting it out there that I'm gonna hit that. But like, I'm going to hit that, so it's fine. Don't even stress about it. I'll see you in 6 months when I'm at $1 million a month. But no, all seriousness though, very grateful for the position that I'm in. I obviously know the work that I put into this, and I know like the value that we provide. I know what's gone into this better than anyone else because I'm the one who's actually fucking doing this. And so I am, you know, I know I deserve where I'm at. I know I deserve to be where I'm at. My brain's mush after yapping for literally an hour straight. I know I deserve where I'm. I know I deserve to be where I'm at, and like I know what's gone into this to get to where I'm at right now. Like there's been a lot of stress, a lot of fucking like shit to put out. As I said, I've had to make firing decisions. Like I've had a lot of issues that like are big issues that I've had to deal with. But that's what it takes to get here. And I've said this on other videos before, but like one of the most important things to like reflect on is I got here through going through all those things. And I know for a fact that my competitors are not going to fucking do that because they do not have the willpower. And even if they did, they're not me. They can't do it. Like, this is what I'm saying. I am the moat. My competitors are not going to go through that same level of stress and adversity and have that same will to like go through this shit, right? They'll just they probably sacked that shit off a long time ago. And even watching this, they'll get motivation to prove me wrong and to beat me because they'll hate my guts after I'm saying all these things. And they'll get that spike of motivation to go through that. But motivation isn't going to be the thing that actually gets you through that. It's actual true willpower and who you are as a person. And unfortunately, if you ain't got it, you ain't got it. And that just fucking sucks. Take the L. But as I said, on a serious note, because I keep going unserious, like on a serious note, that is like something that I understand is I have gone through the things that I know my competition will not go through, which separates me and widens the gap even further from me to them, right? And that excites me, right? Obviously, in these times of stress, I'm stressed. But I always reframe it. I always try to reframe it from that like frame of mind and that perspective of like my competitors aren't going to do this. Nobody else is going to be willing to go through this, right? Even people who are ahead of me right now, if there even are any, but like hypothetically people who are ahead of me in my industry, like I know that I'm going to lap them. I know that I'm going to catch up to them, overtake them, and they're going to see that, and they might even try to, you know, get their throne back, get their crown, but they're not going to succeed. I was going to do another take the L. That's why I paused for a second. But I've already done enough of those. So yeah, and like, that's pretty exciting. I'm done. I don't think I've got anything else left to say. I'm going to end this on the exact 1 hour mark.